Yo, what's good, YouTube? This is Jay from TNJ, and welcome to the off-season, coming off of our first season here in the Miami Dolphins franchise. Before we get into the off-season, we take a look at the Super Bowl here in season number 1. The Chicago Bears will take on the Las Vegas Raiders. Khalil Mack gets to face his former team in the big game. He had 22 sacks this year, his career high in tackles as well. What a game he's about to have versus former team. Derek Carr makes it. 27 touchdowns, 12 interceptions going into his second last year of his contract, and they have built this team by their defensive line. So many defensive linemen up front to stop the quarterback, stop opposing rushers. They are in for a very tough game versus a very good Chicago offense, but they have beat the juggernauts on the way here, the Chiefs and the Ravens, in order to get to the Super Bowl. So we start this game out here in the first half. Here is a handoff, this time to Kenyon Drake, who is now a Raider. He does get the first down. Inside the 10 now, here's Derek Carr on his first drive, throwing this one to the right side, and he just will throw this one to the sidelines. It will be 3 points for the Vegas Raiders. Justin Fields, the rookie of the year in the NFC, he throws to the right side on his first drive, and that one will be dropped by Darnell Mooney. So now 3-0 as the Vegas Raiders have the ball right back, and that is going to be thrown to the right side, picked off by Johnson. It will be a touchdown. How about the Bears already striking early on in this game? It is going to be 7-0. How about the defense already by this Bears team? So here we are now. Once again, the Raiders have another throw to the right side, and it's picked off again. It's going to be number 33, Jalen Johnson, his second pick six. You've got to be kidding me, in the Super Bowl to have the biggest 2 catches and interceptions of your life. How about this Bears team? 14-6 here in the first quarter. You've got to be kidding me. Here is Justin Fields now to end the first. Here is a deep throw, and he's got Mooney this time. That one is caught at the 20-yard line. What a great throw on the run, 50 yards in the air. Now they eventually get inside the 5. Here's a throw to the end zone. It's caught for a touchdown. Jimmy Graham, the veteran tight end, played for a whole lot of teams. The Seahawks, the Saints most notably, and the Packers for a couple of years. And now he is with the Bears. But the Vegas Raiders do strike back. Here is Henry, runs off to the races. It's going to be a touchdown. And Derek Carr bringing his team right back into the game after 2 straight interceptions for touchdowns. But here is the rookie of the year, Justin Fields now, throwing once again all the way across his body downfield, and it's going to be snagged by David Montgomery. How about the running back going up and getting it? It's a first down with great field position here towards the middle of the second quarter. Here is Fields now throwing the fade route, and it should have been picked off. Looking for the former Chicago Bear, now Chicago Bear later in his career as well, Alshon Jeffrey. So now here is Fields before halftime. He gets one more chance to put some points on the board. He has a couple of nice throws. Now at the 20. Another nice throw this time. Nicole Kmet inside the 5. And Justin Fields puts together a nice little 2-minute drill. One last throw. This time it's a touchdown. Throwing to his offensive tackle. And it will be a score. And Justin Fields, 31 points in the first half. On to the second now. Here is another throw to the sideline. It's going to be Mooney again. His favorite target so far this game. Allen Robinson led them in receiving, but it looks like this is the Mooney show. Here is Fields now throwing to the right side. He's got Alshon. Welcome back to Chicago. It's a touchdown. Alshon Jeffrey returns to the Bears and scores in the Super Bowl, 38-16. But do the Raiders have enough to come back? Here is Derek Carr in the third quarter, throwing to the end zone. He's got his man for a touchdown, but still down by a couple of scores. He's going to need a couple of more big plays. But can this defense stop Justin Fields now at the 42? Fields throws downfield again, and he's got a man open. It's a touchdown. Another big throw. And how about Justin Fields? 4 touchdown passes in this game. It has been incredible for him. And man, does he look unstoppable. But here's Derek Carr. He's airing it out to his speedster, Henry Ruggs. He gets on the board, but they're going to need a couple of scores. Inside of 3 minutes left now in the fourth quarter. Here is Derek Carr, play action fake. And it looks like that is the freaking tackle in the backfield. Throwing to the end zone, and it's deflected on a fourth down. It falls to the ground, and the Chicago Bears win the Super Bowl. Justin Fields, as a rookie, is already a Super Bowl champion. Congratulations to the Chicago Bears. Now, Justin Fields threw for 4 touchdowns. The key stat, 0 interceptions. He was so efficient. He will get the Superstar X Factor upgrade manually. I will update that because if you win a Super Bowl in year 1, you're X Factor. He didn't even win MVP. That went to Jalen Johnson, who scored 2 times, but Henry Ruggs had a monster game, over 250 yards receiving in a loss. So here is the review of the year. Patrick Mahomes won MVP. David Culley, head coach of the Texans, actually won Coach of the Year, seeing that they were probably supposed to end up with the worst record in the league. The offseason officially begins now as we look at retirements. Ben Roethlisberger does retire from the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll see who replaces him at quarterback. Trent Williams, one of the best tackles in the game, he retires. Jimmy Smith, Cameron Wake, and Jason McCourty retire from the Dolphins, so no longer will they be on our squad. And just looking at the rest of our guys here, Ryan Kerrigan retires. Tim Tebow retires after 7 seasons. Vinny Curry, Nick Williams also retires. Mercedes Lewis, a longtime Jaguars tight end. And then Mark Ingram, one of the best running backs of our era, at least the last 10 years, he retires, along with AP and Larry Fitzgerald, who finally do retire as well. The first order of business is really to get rid of our defensive coordinator. We are switching to a 4-3 scheme. He is a 3-4 coach, and he did not have a great year as a defensive coordinator. So we'll need to hire a new one, and we're going to hire Scott Jackson, who actually got fired from Seattle. So he will come over with that 4-3 cover 3 scheme type playbook with Pete Carroll's playbook. And Pete Carroll was also fired from the Seahawks, which is pretty interesting. I thought about hiring one of these head coaches to be our defensive coordinator, but I want a real coordinator to be our defensive coordinator. So here we go. Starting off the offseason, we have some question marks, and really it starts with re-signing some of our guys. And we've had a ton of question marks with a lot of our veterans. And the first guy I really don't have any question marks about is Terrence Pitt Howard. We will offer him a pretty good deal here. He did have about what do you have, that 1-year contract, and we just signed him to 13, 4 years. I think that's pretty good. We get a steal right there. We do need to add to the depth, so we go and sign David Roth, who we highlighted earlier in this season as one of our undrafted free agents. He will play a crucial part on special teams. Now, one position we really need to address here is receiver. We have a couple of question marks. Will Fuller is a free agent. We also have Preston Williams, who's a free agent. Not really sure what route we want to go here yet. I do think about Emmanuel Ogbah, but I do want to try and re-sign him in free agency, not just try to re-sign him now, because I want to see what's out there first. I want to see if there are better options at pass rush, because we have about $90 million in cap space. Benardrick McKinney was interesting. He wasn't very, very overly impressive. He was only with us for 1 season, so I will let him walk. But I do want to re-sign Preston Williams, but we give him exactly what he asked for, and he says he wants to play for a new team. I am shocked at that. How do you ask exactly for $13.1 million and then deny it? Well, I'm not going to franchise tag him. That's going to pay him $17 million a year. So I definitely will not do that. So we will head into free agency only signing 2 of our guys. And it's really 2 young guys with David Roth and Terrence Pitt Howard. So we'll see what happens here, because I don't know how we're going to replace some of these guys like Preston Williams. We can't go after him now. He says he doesn't want to play for the team. And then we might have to go after Will Fuller. So we'll see if we end up re-signing them. Now, here are the top free agents. You can see a couple of them. Devontae Adams was at the top. I was very, very interested in going after Adams, but realistically, he's probably going to want to play for a winner, and he's going to probably take the house to sign him, so I'm not going to do that. Aaron Rodgers also is a free agent as well. So we have some holes: tackle, center, defensive end, and really linebacker now. So at first we address offensive line. I think it's smart to go this route first. So we look at center, and Matt Paradis is there. He is an upgrade from Skura, who is also a unrestricted free agent. Matt Paradis is 32 years old, but he has a lot of football left. Former Bronco and Panthers center. We will offer him a 2-year, about $6.9 million deal. I think that's very, very fair for him, and he will hopefully bring some leadership to this offensive line. I definitely look at defensive end, and one guy I look at here is Derek Barnett. 26 years old now. Wow, can you believe it? Derek Barnett was once a top 10 player in the draft. He really didn't live up to the hype, but he's still very good. Looking at his next-gen stats here, he had 5 pressures and 7 sacks, which is actually pretty good. And think about it, it's a 1 more sack than Emmanuel Ogbah had. Takaris McKinley I thought about as well. He was a cheaper option, but I don't think he has the skills really to be a full-time starter at defensive end. Then I look at another pass rusher, and I said I wanted to spend a lot of money either on offensive line or an elite pass rusher, and Von Miller is here. Now, he does not fit a 4-3 scheme, but we can put him at defensive end, switch him over, offer him a big-time deal, but we'll come back to him. Melvin Ingram is interesting. You know, he is a right outside linebacker, more of a 3-4 scheme type of linebacker, but we can also move him to defensive end. He is very, very solid all around. But I go back to Von Miller, and how cool would it be to have him towards the end of his career, maybe even having him opposite of a guy like Jalen Phillips, who we really want to get going here in his second year, and putting Von Miller opposite of him could help. So we offer him a 2-year, $42 million deal. I go after also Keanu Neal, and I want to offer him a 2-year, $18 million deal. He's looking for a 4-year deal, but I'm just not sure about that. I want to use him as more of a sub linebacker and hopefully have Javon Holland as the full-time free safety. I really want to go that route. So now that we have addressed a couple of linebackers, I don't know if they are going to resign. I want to get a third just to be sure. And Chris Barnes coming over from the Green Bay Packers. He was an undrafted free agent. He is in his mid to low 20s. He's only 24 years old and is going into his 3rd year. Very, very young, star development. And I think that this guy has a lot of room to grow, much like Raekwon Davis. This is comparable. I think that we can play with him. He can be on an outside, probably an outside backer for us, and I like it a lot. 2-year, $11 million deal, 3-year, $11 million deal. I will take that. That is a steal for us at outside linebacker. That's where he will line up if he signs. Now, the next position we really need to go after is receiver, and we know that we've just lost Preston Williams. Will Fuller is still there, but we do have some other cheaper options. So if we sign Von Miller, it's going to take up a chunk of our cap, so I don't want to spend a whole lot of money on receiver, and I want to get some young, good, valuable pieces. I consider Anthony Miller here. He is a very good young receiver. He comes over from the Texans, he just got traded from the Bears to, and he is a free agent. But James Washington catches my eye. He is a guy that has been buried in the depth chart for the Pittsburgh Steelers, now behind Chase Claypool in real life, and also some other guys like Deontay Johnson. But I really like him. I'm going to go after him. And then there's the next guy. Let's just talk about Antonio Brown. He lives in Miami in real life. It makes a lot of sense. He's always lived in the state of Florida. He plays for the Buccaneers in real life. He seems to have straightened up his act a little bit. We all know the binge that he went on where he was just all over social media saying crazy stuff, all the accusations and everything. But he seems to be doing a better job at just straightening out his life, which is admirable. So I will offer him a 2-year deal, $12.1 million. We will be his only offer, but we need a veteran receiver who can run routes. I think that was our real Achilles heel. We could not have anybody that could run a route versus a legit cornerback and get open. Only guy was really Jalen Waddle, and it was mainly because of his speed. So our first 6 offers of free agency will be Von Miller, Antonio Brown, Keanu Neal, Chris Barnes, Matt Paradis, and James Washington. I need to see what happens with Von Miller because that's going to determine a lot of our cap. So we advance on to week 2. We get a contract exception from Antonio Brown, so he will be a part of our receiving core. But next, Von Miller, he rejects our contract offer. And lo and behold, he goes to the Jets. Chris Barnes ends up accepting it, so I'm happy about that. We get a 24-year-old young linebacker. Matt Paradis, a better center, he accepts our offer, but Keanu Neal rejects. But Washington accepts. So we get 2 receivers here in the first round of free agency, but we still need to address pass rush now. Unfortunately, Emmanuel Ogbah signed elsewhere, so we cannot go back to him now. We took a risk in waiting until week 2, and he is gone. So now we go after Malik Reed, a younger pass rusher who plays in a 3-4 defense with the Broncos. I'm going after 2 Broncos here. You see the trend here. Broncos seem to have very good pass rushers. They just don't unleash them. Look at Shaq Barrett. He went to the Buccaneers, and he ended up being amazing. Melvin Ingram, I decided to go after him. He had no contract offer, so I decided to go with him. And we will hopefully move him over to defensive end if he accepts. And then I decided to re-sign Landon Roberts because we do need that depth at middle linebacker since Keanu Neal did not sign with us. So we do get a contract exception from Melvin Ingram, Antonio Brown, Chris Barnes, and then Landon Roberts does end up signing as well with us. And that kind of concludes free agency. We end up having $37 million left, so that will go mostly to our rookies. And I like what we did. We didn't do anything too crazy, but we did our job. Von Miller signed with the Jets, already highlighted that. How about Devontae Adams going over to the Bengals? Will Fuller actually replaces Devontae Adams in Green Bay. And then looking at other guys, Emmanuel Ogbah also signs with the Bengals. So we lose 2 guys really in free agency that are pretty big to guys to AFC teams that are going to be competing with us. Looking at the rest of the signings here, not too many guys going in our division that were top guys, but still a lot of guys moved around here this offseason. Derek Barnett ends up signing with the Colts as he does end up with another AFC team. And now we start the NFL draft. Now, there is a glitch here in the draft where there's this like blinding light. So I usually would have a better presentation for you guys. But we will just kind of show our draft board here and the top players available for when we pick. So the number 1 pick in the draft is likely going to be Jimmy Woodyard. He has been number 1 projected for the entire season, and he ends up being selected number 1 by the Washington football team. I almost said the Redskins, but they have a pretty good left tackle right there. 76 overall. Normal development though. Donald Meander ends up being the number 2 pick. Very, very good. He ends up being 92 speed, which is excellent. 80 overall right out the gate. Niles Parrish gets drafted by the Broncos. Aaron Rodgers will not play for the Denver Broncos. Speaking of Rodgers, he ends up signing with the Giants. Addison Blackshear, who we highlighted earlier in episode, I believe 6 or so, he ends up going to the Eagles with the number 4 pick. Then the Jets, who have 2 top 10 picks, end up going tackle and running back. And their running back, Lionel Minter, is very good. 93 speed, 80 overall. Look at these ratings. He is going to be a force with the New York Jets. That's what they need. They really need a ground game. And I think that Minter adds to that for their offense. So here we go. We have pick number 14, selecting at the San Francisco pick because we have their first round pick. And we can go a couple of different routes. You know, I wanted to go offensive line, but there wasn't much here. We didn't sign a tackle in free agency, but there isn't a lot of tackles here that are first round, at least that we want to go after right now. But at the top of our board is Darius Howard. Look at his size and his youth and the skill and the athleticism. This is the Ndamukong Suh. This is the player comparison. He's 6'6", 300 pounds, second in the 40-yard dash, second in 3-cone, second in the 20-yard shuttle as a defensive tackle. He is amazing. We are selecting him number 14, and he is number 3 in true value. He is normal dev, but look at the ratings. 79 block shed, 78 power moves, 80 tackle, 80 speed as a defensive tackle, 69 awareness. We're going to get that up. But we might have the next Ndamukong Suh. I cannot wait to see him on the football field. He will be our first round pick. Now, picks after the first round will be renamed to our subscriber prospects and all of you guys viewing. If you did not see the community post, go ahead and submit your guy. You have a chance of being renamed to a draft pick that is not our first round or undrafted free agents. In round 2, we have pick number 6 now. This is our actual second round pick. We kind of settle in on offensive tackle and receiver, and I kind of narrow it down to those two positions. But I decide to go with a right tackle here, Kevin Tiller, and he ends up being a hidden dev trait. We reached a little bit at pick number 38. He was number 50 in true value, but to get a hidden dev trait guy, that means he's going to at least be a star dev. I really, really love it. His pass block is pretty good as a rookie, 76, so was his run block at 76. I mean, this is an excellent pick here in the second round, especially seeing our offensive line issues. I really, really love this selection. He will definitely help us a lot in protecting Tua's blind side. On to our third pick of the draft, which is 225. We kind of settle in on a couple of guys. Matthias Good is a very good linebacker. We did end up signing Chris Barnes with a linebacker. We also wanted to kind of get another sub linebacker, but I saw some value in Quentin Hobbs. He has excellent speed, good play rec, and good man. I'm going to play a lot of man going forward, and I decide to go with cornerback at this pick, surprising everybody. I wanted to add some depth because I was not sure about the future of some of our cornerbacks. How is Noah Igbenogany going to do in his third season? How is Byron Jones going to do on the outside this year? But Quentin Hobbs, I like the pick. I like it for value, and I like it for depth. In the next round, I decide to go after receiver, and I go after Eric Harold. We lost Will Fuller and also Preston Williams and Albert Wilson in free agency, so I want to add some depth to a receiver. Eric Harold is 88 speed. He ends up with 87 spectacular catch, 85 catching. So he is actually really good. I'm excited to see what he can do, to be honest with you. I don't know if he's going to be a starter, but he will be able to compete for that wide receiver 3 job. We signed James Washington, but right now, I think that number 3, number 4 spot is up for grabs. In the 5th round, we decide to go after a linebacker in Matthias Good. I wanted a guy who can really be a thumper. I think that's one thing that we're missing from this defense, a guy to set the tone. And maybe Matthias Good could be that guy. He has excellent speed. He's out of Ohio State. We have a couple of Ohio State linebackers now. He has excellent speed. He is 23 years old, and he's a good tackler. I'm hoping that he can set the tone for us and really, really take the reins as that guy who can be the leader on our defense. I like this pick right here in the 5th round. I think we got good value there. We decide to go after receiver once again with our final pick. And Sidney Good out of Mount Union looks like a very good receiver right here. But I like Manuel Ruiz, 6'4", 21 years old. He is a physical wide receiver. Doesn't have elite speed, but I want a guy who can go up and get it. A Kenny Galladay type of guy. And Manuel Ruiz ends up being a good pick here. 69 overall. We got very good value here in the 6th round. 89 speed, good change of direction at 88. And I think that he's going to be a very good fit, at least adding depth to our receiving core. So I really loved what we did here in the draft. We had 6 picks and we took advantage of each one. Nobody is below 69 overall. I think that is a very good draft. As you can just see, Darius Howard is going to be the monster in this draft, along with Kevin Tiller. I'm excited for him. Tiller will be renamed. Quentin Hobbs is more of a depth guy, but you never know when injury can happen, so we will have him around at cornerback. And then we draft 2 receivers and then Good at linebacker. I think I like this draft a lot. I would grade this, if I had to grade this myself, it would probably be a B+. I say B+ because we missed on Tyreek McKay. Now, Tyreek McKay might not be better right now than our first round draft pick, Darius Howard, but he is hidden dev. Who knows if that's superstar or even X Factor? That's the only miss I think we had this draft. 99 injury as well. He's going to stay healthy. 78 block shedding. Obviously, Howard is farther along with his skills, but the upside is there with him. Now, the Bills draft a very good wide receiver, so adding to Stephon Diggs, that's excellent. And then the Jets added to their offense as well. You can see the trend in our division, really trying to add to that offensive arsenal. So we move on here at the end of the offseason, and they added something here in this game. I don't remember this being here last year. I don't think it was. But the Hall of Fame induction, and it's going to be DeMarcus Ware. Now, when you get to this point, you watch this little highlight video, and DeMarcus Ware ends up getting inducted into the Pro Hall of Fame. And we end up getting +5 finesse moves for all of our linebackers for the next 6 weeks. Kind of doesn't make sense, to be honest with you. I mean, what does he have to do with the Dolphins? But, I mean, I guess I'll take it with the scenario engine and the opportunities that they added into this game. So we do sign a couple of guys here in free agency after the draft. We signed Tariq Cohen. We just add some more depth to the roster. This is what it looks like right now. I will add some more undrafted guys. That's how I kind of want to build this team, through the draft, through undrafted free agents. Every single team has a lot of undrafted guys that end up being stars down the road. That's just how it goes in the NFL. That's kind of what you love about the story of the NFL. A lot of guys that are low round picks and undrafted guys end up being the stars of their team. I think the one competition I'm worried about going into camp is right guard, and I am worried about left tackle a little bit with Austin Jackson, but I guess we'll have to see how it goes. He's going to go into this year as a starting left tackle again, and just being realistic, he was a first round pick. You don't give up on first round picks that easy. You let them stick it out, let them learn. He's going into his third year, though. So if he does not show up here in year number 3, there is a chance that we will probably move on from him. But we'll give him at least that chance here in year number 3. On defense is what we're going to look like. Matthias Good is going to be competing for that backup linebacker position with Landon Roberts. We signed him for a reason, to have a veteran guy in this group. So he will compete with the rookie Good. And then Andrew Van Ginkel will start at outside. Chris Barnes will start at outside as well. Javon Holland will get his, I guess, official start at free safety. He split with Jason McCourty last year. And our defensive line will look like this. It looks very good, with Christian Wilkins being a guy that is going to rotate in quite a bit. He's going to back up every single position. So that's going to be a whole lot of fun seeing how our defensive line is really going to perform this year. I'm excited. We got a lot of potential with this squad. Hopefully better than 6 wins. So that's going to do it here in the offseason. Let me know how I did down in the comment section below. Hit subscribe. Hit that like button. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.
I like getting money, I got time to get it. Target on me, so my car's a tinted. Dancing with the devil, I don't bargain with it. Bobbing in the dash, and the stick is with it. And I hit the 4-5 on the west side. But I'm from the east side, this how we slide. This how we ride, yeah, this how we